You know those games that you played as a kid and thought they were some of the most badass games you've ever played, but then realized that they were anything but? Yeah, I'm going to be taking a big wet shit on your childhood today. Sonic Heroes is one of those games that's just left me so drained that I don't even feel like doing my usual live opening. Bet you Shadow the Hedgehog is going to make me want to blow my brains out with one of his rocket launchers. But where does that leave Sonic 06? Just kidding, I'm not touching that fucking game with a 10-foot pole. This is Sonic Heroes. Since I want to get to the Edgeathon games as soon as possible, I'm going to try to make this review shorter than normal. The key thing to note is that we have 12 different characters with 3 different playstyles across 4 storylines. Yep, that spells clusterfuck. Well, it's not that big of a clusterfuck since you're playing as 4 teams of characters, and their stories are pretty simple. Better yet, the stories merge into one narrative. But let's break down what's happening here. Team Sonic, consisting of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, are after Eggman after receiving a threatening letter. Team Rose, with Amy, Big, and Cream, are going after Sonic because they believe that he kidnapped Froggy in a chow. Damn it, Big, shove that frog up your ass or something. I'm getting real tired of you losing that little bastard. Also, if you're wondering who Cream is, play the Game Boy Advance games, which are much better. Team Dark is the only team with any real story in this game. Rouge discovers Shadow, who is supposed to be dead, and is attacked by Omega, a character that looks a lot like E102 Gamma. Shadow has lost his memory and wants to seek out Eggman for the truth. Rouge wants to find Eggman's secret treasure, and Omega just wants to straight up murder a bitch for being locked in with Shadow. Funny thing is that Rouge knows exactly who Shadow is, but tells him jack and shit about his past. So all this melodrama with Shadow's amnesia is just a stupid excuse to go after Eggman. Finally, we have the worst team of the bunch, Team Chaotix, consisting of Vector, Espio, and Charmy the fucking Bee. These guys originated from Knuckles Chaotix, and their story is as straightforward as they come. Take on a detective job to pay rent. Turns out all these stories together are just a means to serve Metal Sonic's agenda by copying combat data. And in case you were unaware, this asshole was in Sonic CD. Wow, a lot of characters from older games are just popping up out of nowhere. You fight Metal Sonic in his 2 forms in the last story, which you unlock by getting all the Chaos Emeralds in special stages. Easier said than done. That was a general summary of the many stories, now let's look at gameplay. In each story, you play as 3 different characters at once, and each character has one of 3 attributes: speed, flight, and power. Each attribute is needed to help maneuver through levels in different terrain quickly while taking on robots, which are now sporting health meters. And this is easily the worst thing about the game. With health meters, enemies take longer to defeat with speed or flight characters, and they only serve to justify using a power character. And even this is rendered moot because all characters can level up 3 times, causing more damage and wiping out most robots in one hit. With that, it renders the concept of a health meter completely pointless. The only real cool thing about this gameplay style is the team attack, which allows you to unleash a powerful attack, wipe out enemies, and depending on your team, grants you special effects. So what is it about this game that makes me find it worth shitting on? Surprisingly, a lot. Let's start with the 4 teams. Each team represents a different difficulty, so Team Rose would have fewer robots and shorter stages, while Team Dark would have longer and harder stages, and so on. But then there's Team Chaotix with their mission-based style of gameplay, where in many cases you need to find a certain number of worthless items or perform certain tasks to complete the stages. And guess what? The items you collect are often hidden, so don't be surprised if it takes you a while to get even the first fucking stage done. They're nothing more than a gimmick to pad out the gameplay. Then you have to consider the fact that every team goes through the exact same stages with the exact same formula for boss encounters. It goes from Eggman to a character battle to a robot gauntlet. Team Rose arguably has the best runtime of any stage, while the other teams make the stage feel way too drawn out. The stages themselves grow in size too as you progress, which makes playing them with Team Chaotix feel like I have a pair of anguish inserted into my rectum. Other complaints include questionable level design, see Rail Canyon, more collision detection issues, and the furious taint hair pulling anger that is the special stages. Act 2 for every stage holds a special stage for the Chaos Emeralds, and everything about them can fuck right off. You need to get a key within a stage and complete it without either getting hit or dying, otherwise you lose the damn key. Then you're warped to the special stage with the worst controls I've ever experienced in a Sonic game. So far. In these stages you need to fight the control as you attempt to catch the Chaos Emerald within the time limit. Do yourself a favor and do these stages with Team Rose, since the stages are shorter and you're less likely to fucking get hit. Within the pile of shit that is Sonic Heroes, is there anything good about it? Well, yes. The animation has significantly improved for one, and if you've played 2D Sonic games, these stages legitimately look like 2D Sonic stages brought into the 3D world. And naturally, since it's a Sonic game, the music still kicks ass. The final boss fight also happens to be one of my favorites throughout the entire series as well. That and Omega's constant bloodlust always makes me smile. There's significant problems with Sonic Heroes, but I think the worst of them all is that it's simply boring. I remember loving this game to death as a kid, but going back to it really depresses me. I was really hoping this game would still hold up after all these years, but I knew the problems I would be facing as soon as I finished the first stage. There's been arguments among Sonic fans that Sonic Adventure 2 was the start of the series' downfall, but I would argue that it was actually Sonic Heroes. At least Sonic Adventure 2 was infinitely more interesting than this one. Sorry folks, I would definitely pass on playing this game. It's not worth your time and energy just to play the same stages with increasingly crappy gimmicks. Speaking of which, Shadow the Hedgehog. Fuck my life.